just kind of talk about I think the simplest one to do is just talk about press releases. It's an overlooked marketing tool. And I created a new process essentially. The idea, so let's start with this. The problem companies have nowadays, especially B2B companies, is they need visibility, number one. And number two, especially when you start talking about AI, you need credibility. So you got two big problems when it comes to B2B companies. That's number one. Number two, press releases are the least costly option to get your name out there. If you think about advertising where it's a money pit, and you just, and it's like, okay, well, what do you do with that, right? I mean, you can throw 5 grand into it, and next thing you know, it's gone, and you have, how much of it has residual value? In the
Mm-hmm.
case of press releases, you get residual value, and I think that's the one differences over here that we're trying to figure out is how do you how does your money go longer? How do you expand that investment, and how do you make it work for you? I think that's the core idea about a press release, and I think this is why a lot of companies tend to miss it. And if you think that you don't have something to talk about, believe me, you have something to talk about. Um, if we take a look at press releases as a tool um, for uh, just announcement or just PR announcement, then you're going to miss the boat. I'm suggesting we need to take press releases and make it into a marketing strategy, right? And so, very quick idea. Let's say you're the CEO or the company you work with. You take the CEO's opinion about their industry, turn it into something controversial, and make that what I would consider an op-ed. Make that op-ed the announcement, right? John Doe, CEO of ABC company, believes that whatever. Okay, and let's turn that into a thought leadership piece. Let's turn that into a piece that gets people's attention. So I think there's a variety of different ways to be able to do press releases, and it can go way beyond um, a PR announcement. Um, and I'm just kind of going to throw out there some options as far as what you might want to consider for as far as what you could issue a press release about. The core idea over here is to get visibility and to get credibility, and it has to be based on what the company does. It's going to be based on the products, the services, the industry that you're in, and more importantly, is how do you use press releases to get ahead of your competition? So these are some of the areas that I think get missed when we're talking about press releases, and especially if the only thing they do is it's just a PR announcement. It's just not going to work anymore. And the amount of noise that we're covering nowadays, um, excuse me, especially when it comes to post-pandemic, is crazy. It's exponential on the internet, and I think B2B companies are getting drowned out essentially. And so what we did was we came up with a new idea of using a tool that doesn't get used very often, which is the press release marketing. So think about it this way: press releases, if you use it as a marketing strategy, then the concept would be two press releases a month, back to back for 3 months. Hit the market hard, hit it quickly, and keep the tension high. That's the concept of using press releases as a marketing strategy versus press releases as a PR announcement. PR announcements are one shot. They just, a PR agency does them, and it doesn't really get you where you need to go. And I think I missed a step over here. Maybe I didn't. Um, and so if you think about the process, the idea is to take about 30 days to come up with those 6 press releases, identify the topics, what you're going to say. And I think the other part of it is that we don't want to make it a 400-word press release. Those were designed for publicly traded companies, for investor relations to announce their earnings. as a B2B company using today's world as your tool, you need to tell a story. And so it's going to be a combination of an announcement, a story, and being able to identify your target audience, or at least identify what their pain point is as part of that PR announcement, or that press release. If you do this back to back and you're using the premium outlets, so ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN's, Fox's, the financial networks, trade publications, right? Those 7 areas, then you're going to be hitting the major networks. You're going to be getting high domain authority or notable websites carrying your press release. So you're talking about, let's say, Yahoo Finance having your press release out there. You're talking about Benzinga having your press release out there. You're talking about the ABC affiliates all carrying your press release. Now all of a sudden you're hitting the market hard in multiple directions simultaneously. And to be perfectly honest with you, for $1,500 per press release, you can't beat that because there's no advertising that that does that. Um, and so the the idea is to do these in this sequence. Roughly about every 7 days after the press release, we can generate a 90-page report that says what happened to that press release. The other thing that we can do is track its performance in this way. Does it generate backlinks to your website? And based on our case studies, we can do about 1,000 backlinks per month, I should say, just to keep it conservative, um, in terms of the value that it's providing to the business from an SEO standpoint, meeting the requirements of Google, Wikipedia, and the AI engines. So you're covering all 3 elements all at the same time when it comes to this process. Now, I've got 2 different pricing structures, 750 and 1500. If they're purchased as a 6-pack, like I was suggesting, then we obviously give a discount on it. But roughly speaking, the concept over here is use press releases as your marketing strategy. There's a variety of things that you can do after this call. I would say go to ChatGPT and have it create a press release for you and see what you think. And that's kind of the path that you'd be able to identify what the gaps are. At least let ChatGPT provide those gaps. And I honestly think about it this way: we did a press release for Bentley a year ago. It's still on the internet, so you get all this residual value as well. And on
Thank
that
you,
note,
Melih. Yeah, thank you. And I think the word press release has unfair connotations to it that people are thinking
I agree.
of, what you and I and many of us on the call, a press release was paper form in the past. And now
Yep.
I think a lot of people forget about all of the electronic media outlets that people are subscribing to and getting notifications to multiple times a day. 1,000 backlinks a month. And I know you said conservatively, so I know the numbers are higher. You
Sorry.
have case studies of numbers that are higher.
I
Uh,
did.
that's huge. That's huge for SEO and AEO.
Yep.
Is
Exactly.
AEO is now, for those of you that familiar, it's AI engine optimization. Uh, AEO has taken over. It started SEO, then it went to GEO, and now it's AEO.
Actually, the other way around. SEO to AEO to GEO.
Oh, okay. I just heard
I
about
know.
AEO
And the problem
recently.
is
I
that
messed
the
up.
industry is using AEO and GEO interchangeably nowadays. And I think they missed the fact that in 2013, Google's Hummingbird algorithm actually created the AEO environment.
Oh, wow, that long
Yeah.
ago.
So
See,
it's been
that's been
around
out,
for a while.
been
Yeah.
around for a
But
while.
AI is
Now they're
helping
just
to
admitting it.
facilitate it. Yeah.
They're just admitting it now. Does anybody have any questions for Malik? And I love how accessible that is. That is a low investment
It
for
is.
the long term greenfield effect that a client may get from the PR uh, advertising. Rob.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
thanks. Question is, so how how do you get your press release to organizations like Yahoo and so forth? They probably get thousands and thousands of them.
That's his secret sauce,
Yes.
Rob.
Yeah, exactly. Partly. So on the one hand, we work with the premium networks. So we have our own process in place for that. Uh, and then the rest of it's relationships for one thing. And then it's the distribution method. And last but not least is what are you saying? You got to it's got to be interesting enough to be able to get somebody to pick it up.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you.
Yeah,
for the question,
there's a
Rob.
lot. Yeah. And I guess the thing to keep in mind, and listen, don't go, I've been around this for a long time. I realize you can go submit your press release for $100. There's a lot of them out there. And I call those syndication services.
Mhm.
But that's also a hope and pray approach. In other words, you it gets syndicated and you don't know where it's going. It doesn't necessarily hit notable websites and it doesn't necessarily hit high domain authority websites. My point is, it's a waste of time. It feels good because it's only $100. But the question is, okay, well, what value does it have for you? Does it get you the visibility you need? Does it get you the credibility you need, that you're looking for? And the answer is it doesn't. And so I, I'm not disputing the fact that those options exist.
You're getting your money's worth. If you're only investing $100, you will get on
No, you're,
sites.
you're
It's
good.
just, is it the sites
You
that
get
your
what you pay
clients
for.
your target audience is at? Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Thank you. Great question,
Exactly.
Rob. Lyle, do you have a question for Mali?
Um, well, I just wanted to give Melih a plug. I've spent some time with Melih. This is one incredibly smart
Cool.
person, and there's so much more to SmartFinds marketing than the PR thing. Although I love this Melih, that's awesome. But you ought
It's
to
an
check
easy
out
one.
his blog because what he publishes on a regular basis is very insightful and very smart, and definitely worth checking out. So
Well,
Thank
and
you
his
that's
very
it.
much, Lyle.
podcast.
I appreciate
Uh,
it.
Mali is also a host on a podcast called Business Lunatics. So
Yep.
yeah, Mali is
And we're
everywhere.
looking for a host, just FYI, as long as I got everybody's attention.
Okay, and it's on the discussion board.
Yes, it is.
What board is that on, Mali? If somebody wants to go look that up and
I can't remember which one I put it on.
what you're working on. Angie, did you have a
Yeah,
question for Mali while he's looking for that? I know we
Yeah,
want to.
in the sinkhole of digital media that's out there, I mean, it's just amazing to me that you're getting people to actually see what you have. I mean, because you can just put anything out and, you know, getting it in front of your audience. What do you think is best when you're trying to get people to take action on either call you, do something, respond to it? Are you having is it better to have events? How do people respond the best? That they actually take action when they see your
yeah.
piece of media?
I just let me go backtrack on one thing I said while I was doing the presentation. We take about 30 days to come up with a strategy of those press releases. Okay. And so who's the client? What are they, what industry are they in? What products and services are they in? And to be perfectly honest with you, especially in today's world, we're able to kind of do a scan of their competition
Mhm.
and to figure out how we're going to position the client. How do we position them in the industry? And then how do we position them specifically to what they do against their competition? It's well thought out and processed before we start doing any type of work. And and I think this is why I was suggesting this is a marketing strategy. This is not a PR announcement. If you look at this as a PR, as a marketing strategy, then it's requires some planning. There is a marketing process. We need to understand how we're going to measure it. We need to understand our activities, our tasks, and more importantly, in this case, what the timing is. So if we're going to do 6 press releases, for example, well, what should be the first one and what should be the last one? And to answer your question, that's what goes into being able to get the target audience to say, yes, I want to talk to this person.
Excellent. Thank you.
I don't have
There's
a
not a
silver bullet to your
specific, yeah,
answer.
but there is a process getting there, is what I'm understanding. Is
Yes,
there's not a bullet, there's a
exactly.
process.
No, exactly.
Yeah. There's
Maybe
a
I had a
strategy.
quick question. With regard to
Sure.
press releases, back in the day, I mean, doing a press release or having that, there were certain outlets that everybody went to. I don't know whether it was a
Yeah,
newspaper,
I know.
whatever.
I remember those days.
Nowadays, yeah, I mean, how does that work with press releases now? Because nobody goes to the newspaper anymore. I mean, newspapers are just dying. And I don't know, are you targeting trade magazines, or when you do a
Yeah,
press
it's
release, who
yep.
gets it?
So we have relationships with the premium networks. So that takes care of the bulk of what we need, right? ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, CNN. Boom. And the financials. That takes care of those six very quickly. As far as the trade publications are concerned, I didn't want to take up everybody's time here today, so I don't know how much detail I want to go into.
Got
But as far
about
as the
another minute.
okay, as far as the trade publications are concerned, it's based on the client's industry, right? Whatever it is, if it's manufacturing is one thing, whether it's technology, it's another. And you might remember back in the day, we used to take the press release, stick it in the fax machine, hit a button, and it fax it out all day long to
Yeah.
the newspapers in the local area only. Well, take that concept, but now do it as an email directly to the editor or the journalist of a trade publication. And so that also changes the perspective on one, whether it gets picked up, and two, whether or not a trade publication decides, hey, I want to talk, I want to interview this company and have them as an article in my editorial.
And the scale with which you can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. Compared to what we used to do 30 years ago or 40 years ago.
Bashra, do you have a real quick question for Melih?
I'm meeting with him, I think, next week, but I'm gonna say when I was a baby, I have him in my connection in LinkedIn. He was one of the first people I started connecting in LinkedIn when I came to United States in 2011, and this is the first time I'm meeting him.
Oh, cool.
Oh, no kidding.
Good.
No kidding. Oh, what a small world. What a small world. All right, guys, we're going to hop into our last breakout and we'll come back.